Very much, Mr. Speaker. It is a great pleasure to rise in the second reading of the New Zealand Mission Trust Board Otamataha Empowering Bill. Well, thank you. I'm glad that my te reo actually meets mustard today, and I'd like to congratulate my colleague Te Orora Flevo, whose bill it is that is actually receiving the second reading today, sir. This bill transfers land in Tauranga and other property from the New Zealand Mission Trust to the Otamataha Trust so that it can be used for the beneficiaries of the Otamataha Trust, the hapu of Ngāti Tahu and Ngaitamara Waho.
We train it very well.
Tēnā koe. Thank you very much. Let me just say, he just called me a Kori, and that is a nickname that I actually recently acquired. Kori stands for Korean Hori. I don't know if it's actually derogatory or not, but recently I traveled with the Māori business delegation to Malaysia to promote Māori business, and I feel very honoured to be called by my brother over there, but I'm not so sure if I should actually take offence at that. But the return of the land is highly significant to the hapu of Ngāti Tahu and Ngaitamara Waho. And the hapu say that it re-establishes their connection to the water and provides income to the hapu to finance other activities. You know, all of that stuff. And for me, it is actually really important because to my culture, in my country, where I was born in Korea, water, the land, the blood ties, it is so significant. I guess it's sort of like the Māori community. So even though we don't actually have the name of hapu or whakapapa, but genealogy is so important in Korean culture as well, that we are divided in our distinct surnames. I am a Lee. In Korean, it's E, often spelled as Y-I. I belong to the Gyeongju Lee. So Gyeongju Lee is very different to the Jeonju Lee. Often they're enemies because we come from the warring factions, like the Māori history. Going back, our history is about 5,000 years old. There were three distinct hapu who actually, killed each other, and eventually it actually became one country. And to them, land and water is so important. And even to this day, there is a major dispute with our neighboring country about the water. Because for Koreans, for more than 2,000 years, the Sea of Japan that we all know as Sea of Japan was always the East Sea. For us, it was Donghae. So I can understand why the water retainment, the establishment of the connection to the water is so important to this hapu. Just a little bit about the background where the Otamataha Trust has been established by the hapu of Ngāti Tahu. And if I can understand this background, because I wasn't part of the select committee, the Church Missionary Society was established in Tauranga in 1835, and the CMS bought 2 blocks of tangata whenua land, which is where the city of Tauranga is now today. However, the transaction has never been accepted by tangata whenua as a sale of the land to the Church Mission Society. I guess it's sort of like the South Koreans never accepting the fact that, North Korea is now owner of the land that actually belongs there now, because we are technically at war still. The 38 parallel is just a demarcation, that there are still disputes over which belongs to what part of the country. In 1867, the Crown acquired 4/5 of the land which had been vested in the CMS by Crown grants in 1852, and military settlers were settled on it. This land was surrounded by confiscated Māori land on which was also settled. In 1996, the New Zealand Mission Trust Board handed back control of the land to the new trustees appointed by Ngāti Tahu and Ngāti Tamarawaho. This was done in recognition of the manner and process by which the land was originally acquired from tangata whenua. So the land involved in this is 7,863 square metres of waterfront site. The Trinity Wharf Hotel sits on. The Trust collects the ground rent from that hotel. I believe the Select Committee considered 14 submissions, and knowing my colleagues who actually sit on the Māori Affairs Select Committee, they would have actually given due process to this, and I believe that they've done a good job. The thing that interests me is that although the new trustees had control of the land, they are still obliged to use the money and investment derived from the land for, quote, the spiritual benefit and spiritual instruction of Māori people in the North Island and New Zealand, or failing that, the evangelization of heathen races in any part of the world. It has always been the intention that the two trust that it would be changed so that the two hapu can benefit from it. However, the conditions cannot actually be changed by any other means except through new legislation, sir. I commend the work of the Select Committee, and I commend this bill to the House.
Call Tim McIndoe.
Kia ora, Mr.